Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Modded Minecraft with me, Greatester. And as you may have noticed from the sound, I have changed a few things around. I wasn't happy with the sound, so I went out and got some new audio gear. I may have mentioned it in a previous episode. And that has now arrived and should now be pretty good quality. Let me know what you think. Leave comments below. Too loud? Too quiet? How's the quality compared to the old one? Obviously the noise gate is now gone from OBS, so that's gone, but there is a hardware version to try and keep the noise of the computer fans in the background away from you as much as possible. For those of you interested and into all things tech, I am now using a Shure SM7B microphone, which goes into a Cloudlift SEL1, which goes into a DBX286S, which goes into an audio interface into the computer. Just a generic USB audio interface is fine for that. And this just means I have a lot more control over things like the gain and the levels before the computer gets them, unlike my old microphone, which was the Podcaster, the Rode Podcaster, which is very good, is probably the best USB microphone on the market, but you don't get much control over the audio quality. It pretty much works or it doesn't. If you're in a quiet room, it will probably be perfect for you. Or if you could put your computer in a closet somewhere, or a wardrobe as we call them, then you could probably get away with that. But I decided probably not going to be so much good for me. Anyway, enough talking about new audio gear. Do let me know about that one. What do you think? Time to go and talk a little bit about what we do next. So this is episode 40. I am going to try and get you all a world download, although I'm probably going to have to remove my mining dimension from the world download because it is huge. It is like over 800 megabytes, and I'm sure you all don't want to download that one. So yeah, I may have to modify that just a little bit. So, that's the world download, and once I've finished it, it might not be in the description immediately, but once I've figured out how to pare that down as much as possible, I will put it up somewhere and then make it available for you. It may be on an AdFly account or something along those lines. I don't have I suppose I could put a Dropbox link up. Yeah, that might work. Anyway, we'll see how we get on that one. So what's this episode all about? Not 2 minutes of me talking, but as I mentioned last episode, I do want to link my two networks up, and that is using something called Quantum Ring. Similarly, I also want to make sure that my networks... This episode mainly is talking about not just linking the networks, but also management of the storage. In my data center, for example, you've all seen this now, hopefully. I don't want to have to craft things from here, and there was actually a really good comment, and again, I really need to remember the names of these people. I really should write this down. It's a bit rude for me not to, but I had a really good comment saying, why don't I do automatic management of the storage in addition to, you know, all of this nice stuff for the data center? And what's really meant by that, and the comment goes into it further, is that as the system starts to fill with stuff, that the system should automatically be able to craft its own expansion cards. Its expansion, not the drives, but the individual cards that go into them, and you know what I mean, the disks. Automatically craft its own and put them into its own network. So you never have to fill all these with disks until they're ready to. It means you don't have to waste all your resources till it's actually needed, and the whole thing should be automatic. So it should just grow as you need it to, and you don't have to worry about it otherwise, which sounds pretty good to me. So what's the first stage of getting to that? Well, first of all, in order to set up a crafting system over here, I'm going to want to link these networks together. As you can see, I've got a huge amount of power available. If I go down one level, I've kind of got a nice good area here that I can use. I can probably put a controller on this side here, and then just run a dense cable out and have this room, if you like, as my main crafting center for this side of the network, and I will gradually transfer everything over. Just an interest. Yeah, it's like 2,000 Yellorium. It just keeps going up. Right, so what do we need for that? Well, we're going to need to craft a quantum ring for the starter of things, and there goes the lightning again. Oh, I've actually made one. Let me just check the lightning. I thought I got rid of all of the lightning blants, but they just decide to spontaneously pop onto the ground somewhere and start. So I never quite know if it's a natural lightning storm or if it's something if it's something to do with those plants, which I absolutely hate. So let's go into daytime mode. So we actually want, I need to craft whoops. I need to craft, is it 16 or 8 of those? Let's go with 8. Oh, I need some clear crystals. Fine. I forgot. I didn't complete the automation of this to turn it on automatically. That should sort it out. While that's running, I'll go and make the rest, the quantum ring side of things. So if you type in quantum, did I not put this in a recipe? I thought I had. No, I must not have done. Okay. It's not like you need them for mass production or anything. So we're going to want 16 of these, 8 for either side. And we're going to need 2 of these, the quantum link chambers, which needs the fluix pearls, which depends on that thing upstairs. Let's see if any of them are actually complete yet. Okay, while that's actually running, let me go and explain the other part of things. Here is probably the best place to show you. It's disconnected at the moment, but as I've explained in previous episodes, this is a Masa Condenser, which if you set it to the singularity mode, 256,000 cobble later, if you feed it into here with a 64K storage component, you will end up with a singularity popping into here. Singularities are, well, the starting item, hopefully, yeah, there it is. They're the starting item towards linking 2 disparate or 2 separate networks, but we have to entangle them first. So let's go and do that. So in order to do this, I'll come down here into my mining area down near bedrock, and hopefully there's no lava around, we'll find out shortly. I've grabbed some ender dust, which is just ground up ender pearl, singularity, some TNT and a redstone block just to trigger it. So hopefully it should trigger it. Take off magnetism rings because you don't want that to happen. There we go. So if I put my TNT down, let's say here, and we can drop these 2. Oops. And run like hell. Now, I don't really need to, but there we go. All done, and now I have a pair of quantum entangled singularities. And it's important that you have them as a pair. Singles don't get you anywhere in quantum singularities. I wonder if it's finished those crystals for me yet. Ooh. My spelling's atrocious. Really? Why do you only have... Oh, it's not ground the dust yet. Yeah, I've got enough crystals to make it. I just need to grind them up a little bit to make the fluix pearls. And that's going to take another minute. Let's go and find another place while that structs, we want a place on either side to put the quantum ring. And because I'm not terribly concerned about placement of this, I think I wonder, oh, should I just set it into the floor? What's underneath here? Yeah, maybe not. I'm going to need both power and data, so is that my output line? Wow, internal server error. Capacitor power, and that is sending. So yeah, that is power output. So for now, if I just put it, say, here. What do you think? I should do it. So we just take this as you would construct anything else. And you're going to want that same structure on both sides. And we're going to want some power output. So let's just grab a conduit. That should connect once we've got everything done, or maybe I have to put it to this one. Are you finished with my fluics yet? Well, 4 will do for the first item. And achievement, quantum tunneling. So if I put this in the middle, it will form into a multi-block, and yeah, I probably do have to connect this up to the top. I was afraid of that. Or not. Interesting. Okay, so if I take one of the two pairs and put them in the middle, that should be enough. I need to get it to the other side and connect this up to the network. Maybe it's enough that the ME network will power this. So let's get rid of you for a second and just hook you up to something to do with our ME network. If I've got a spare channel somewhere, which I'm sure I have. Let me go and find a channel and I'll come right back so you don't have to watch me dig up my entire base. So I've now done that on my main base, and out here in this room, I put another one of these rings. It's formed into a multi-block, and I've put the actual quantum entangled singularity into the center. And there's a controller just here, which has a cable which is about to be connected up, and this should now take a channel. And in a minute, when everything syncs back up, hopefully. Or maybe not. Ooh, that doesn't like it, does it? Let me just check up there. Yeah, it just didn't like the controllers being there and the way I'd set that up. So now I don't actually have a controller on this side of things because it really is extending the network on the other side, which you're about to see. So obviously everything is lit up. Let's see if this even registers on my power gauge. It doesn't. It's not surprising. But I wonder, can I now see everything? I can. So all of this is not in my data center. It's back in my base, and the two are now connected by a quantum ring. The important part about that is that unlike our subnets, the quantum ring really does connect the two systems. There isn't any, as far as I know, there isn't any restrictions as far as what it can actually access and what it can pull from. So I suppose I could create an interface that can pull on this side. I've pulled from this network. That would be interesting. I wonder. Yeah, all the channels are now in use. So I may have to run another cable temporarily. Let me do that off camera and I'll come back. And cue about half an hour worth of tinkering, and there's some significant issues with doing this a simple way. You might think, and this is what I'm setting up here just to automatically expand the storage now, you might think I can just set up this interface to take an ME storage cell and supply it from our crafting system, which I can do that. That's absolutely fine. And here it is. If I remove that, another one will be crafted. And you might think, well, I can just run a pipe, a cable, all the way to my other storage side of things. This being the system that shows me the drives themselves. Well, you can say, well, I know, if there's, I don't know, less than one storage drive in there, let me just use a ME level emitter or something like this. And let's say, tell me if there is emit when levels are below or equal to 0. So when there is 0, effectively, 64K ME storage cells with empty bytes and empty types, at least that's what you might think, light up. Nothing's happening. Why won't you work? Anyway, I'll go up this way just to prove it. Well, just to prove it. Okay, so there is 0 empty drives in the system, but the ME level emitter just doesn't seem to detect that. For example, if I set this to 1 instead, it's fine, you know, it's saying if I was 1 or less. If I set this to 2, it's still okay, but if I flip it around, it's not. So it is detecting that individual drive that's already in place, the individual storage cell, as being equal to this one. And that's no good, because that doesn't let us detect whether the storage cell is full or not. So we cannot use ME level emitters, which would be a really simple way of doing this. If you know a way of doing this, using ME level emitters, let me know in the comments, because frankly I was out of ideas. So instead I did this a different way. Instead of detecting whether there were empty drives, which is what I was trying to do to trigger more drives to be created so that this can just fill itself as and when it needs to, instead of that, what I'm going to have to do is detect the input chest. So this input chest, as you can see, if I just remove this for a second, this block, what you'll see happening is as items are filling up this up beyond 0, you know, as things are coming in, it's sending out a redstone signal saying it's not 0 anymore. But I want it to actually compare against known value, i.e. is this chest full? And if it's full, it's probably going to be because the storage is full. And there, due to that, we can then create just a line of cable. That might be something that... No, that's not going to be sensitive to it. That may be enough. Which block space is it in? Should be. So when this goes on, it should trigger this to pull something in to here. Let's just knock this block out and see if we can get it to pull a storage drive in. Might not be enough signal there. Oh, there has. Yep, no, that has actually pulled in. So let me just quit that. Let me just put this... No, not that. No. Yeah, there we go. Put that back. So what's actually happened here is that it has detected, because this input chest was momentarily so-called full, but it actually was just like one item passing through because of the comparator. We've seen these redstone comparators before. I could do that simpler with, I don't know, just put the comparator underneath the chest, and yeah, I just like that red string comparator. I just likely to use that and just push the chest elsewhere just to tidy up, because it will pass through blocks unless they have inventory, if I remember rightly. So that does mean it now works. Weird. This should have, yeah, one empty, one full. Well, not full, but you get the idea. So I can pull this out of the system. In fact, I can put this back in for now. I'll put a few more. And whenever I get to the state, why is that? Oh, okay. They doesn't show them as stacking. Anyway, what we get out of this is if this storage input chest ever gets full, it's going to start crafting more drives, and it creates them to here, which they'll then be pulled into the system as and when they're needed. Like I said, I'm not completely happy with this because it doesn't deal with a situation where if stuff gets into the system via other methods than the ender chest, the input ender chest, like what I'm going to have to watch out for is things like auto-generated resources like cobblestone and all the other stuff. I will probably put those in the DSUs at the back of the data center, but it's something to watch out for, because if you don't watch out for that, you can fill your system. Well, I suppose then the input chest would still get full as well, so it's a bit more delayed than I like. I'd really like to just sense empty drives, and I cannot find a way of just detecting empty drives. If you know how, let me know in the comments, because I'd be very happy indeed to do that. And I'll tidy up all this other cabling once I'm finished and try and make it nice. Probably put it down in this block somewhere. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. So we've got a system now. The two systems are connected. I can do anything I want from here. I can request crafting from here, which is what this interface block is doing. As you can see, crafting card. Which means I can probably start connecting up to this system eventually and transferring the crafting side of things over here maybe. I'm not quite decided on what I'm going to do with that side of the system just yet, but you know, just some ideas while we go further. So, where do we go from here? Well, we've got a fully functional system. Now I've got a power system now. I've got the stuff linked up. There's a number of other topics to actually cover, but they're not AE2 related. Yeah, I wonder. Let's have a look. Can we go back to Thorncraft yet? I suspect not. This Thorncraft node. I wish I'd set this up on a web server now rather than an online server rather than my local computer. You can see I can't seem to get auto over 100. I could leave it as it was now because I'm going to get 20% because of the node type. But as you can see, a lot of it is built up. So maybe a few more days and I should have auto over 100, and just that's what I want as my minimum. And then we can create one recharge station over here and lots of other good stuff around this side of things. Similarly, my farms should have produced enough skulls and such like that. Skulls? Yeah, I mean, I've got 500 skulls. So we should also be thinking about making a wither farm at this point too. And I think it's all going to be coming. Let's see, how much have we got? We need septuple, not a sextuple. No, that's too low. If I just take that, yeah, septuple. It's like 4 million. Yeah, 4.7 million cobblestone for one block, just to make it witherproof. And to be honest, it's going to take too long. What I'm going to have to do is create more of these. And that's fine because that's what I've done elsewhere. But I'm going to have to do that to actually get enough of that septuple compressed cobblestone. The simplest and smallest farm you can do for that is, I don't know, maybe I think it's 3 blocks wide, and then a block of the exits and entrances to that. So if you imagine a 3x3 but 1 block, like yeah, let's just build it. It's something like this. And you got to make it a certain size with holes at a certain point, probably something like something along these kind of lines, I think. If any of you have any particular designs for wither cages, by all means, again, send those through. What we're really going to have to construct is just really a platform that we can build our T-shaped soul sand thing on. And that might actually be 1 higher. Or sink it 1 into the ground. Yeah, we need to be able to place down our T-pieces of our soul sand and then place the skulls on top. And have the whole thing enclosed so that the wither cannot get out. And to do that, this whole thing kind of has to be made from... We can make it more efficiently than this, but the whole thing kind of has to be made from septuple compressed cobblestone or a similar block. There are blocks in Thorncraft called warded blocks. You basically got to focus on your wand, and you can use ward blocks. Not sure if they're weatherproof. Be nice to know if they are or not. But in any case, I will have to do that once I have enough resources. So that's something coming up soon as well. Yes. Do I have anything I want to cover? I could just make this a short episode and then cover that next episode once I've managed to make more of this cobblegen stuff. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this episode. I did mention it, I hope I mentioned it, but both sides of this quantum ring have to be powered. You know, you will get that happening by default because this thing is going to connect to your networks. Once the two are connected, I don't think it needs to be powered anymore. Because power is coming through your AE2 network, it doesn't really matter. If you do lose power for some reason, just bear in mind that the two networks could become disconnected if it gets lost at both sides. So, something to be wary of. And yeah, this cable is really ugly, but I don't care because this base I'm kind of going to be moving out of pretty soon. As you can see, my storage side of things, yeah, I suppose I could transfer or start transferring the storage. What I need to do is at least make sure I've got this many 64K storage cells on the other side, and I'll do that off camera between episodes so that I've got enough types. Remember that there's 2 things for ME drives. One is the number of bytes, which is the amount of items. The other one is the types. So as you can see here, a lot of these types are actually in use. This one, there's a few that aren't in use. So anything that is... well, I'm not going to be able to tell by the colour. No. But anything that is not 0, I need to make at least that many 64K storage drives just to keep everything consistent on the other side. And then I can simply load all of these things into this MEIO port on the other side. It doesn't even need to be on the other side as long as I set the priority of the data center higher than this, which is... This is 12. That's 0. Oh, yeah, because that's named storage. It's also 0. So if I set the bare level of the data center side of things, the first interface to it, or the first storage cell to it, storage bus to it, to be 1, it should override this and should start storing stuff in the data center, which is exactly what we want. Because then we can just drop our drives into here and it should all just shuttle through to the data center. Exactly what we want. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it for this episode. It's been a good one. We've got the 2 systems connected. And we've also got a system to try to recover if we ever fill this system up. Because once we start putting laser drills onto it, and once we start, well, I've obviously got that meteorite system. I wonder if that's actually, I wonder if that's done anything. Have I been on for an hour? I might not have been on for an hour. No, I've not been on for an hour yet. So yeah, this meteor system will work. And we'll start filling our system. I've already got like 100k iron ingots, so yeah, I could get to millions of that quite easily by just by leaving the server online, and you would too. Anyway, hopefully you liked this episode. If so, feel free to leave a like or a comment, particularly on the topics that I've got in here, because if a better control system would be better than that if I could detect empty drives. Unfortunately, I can't seem to. Also, if you like the quality of the sound, or if you didn't like the quality of the sound, please leave me a comment on that as well. Obviously, if you like this video and want to see more, subscribe, and yeah, you'll get notifications from there. If you dislike the video, feel free to dislike, but please tell me why. Hopefully you won't dislike just because the volume's wrong. Just leave me a comment in that case. I can easily adjust that, but what I don't want to do is make the whole YouTube louder is better kind of war apparent, because if I go too loud, it's going to start distorting. You're going to start hearing really over-the-top audio that just distorts out. It doesn't sound clear anymore. That's the important point. And I want this to sound clearly audible and maybe quite relaxing at the same time. So until next time, thank you for watching.